In the summer of 2022, a single post from Kim Kardashian on Instagram reached over 10 million likes, a staggering number that not only solidified her status as one of the most influential people on the planet, but also underscored the profound impact of social media on our culture. But how did we get here? To a point where a single individual can amass such enormous influence, shaping the attitudes, behaviors, and purchasing decisions of millions of people around the world. The term influencer, which has become ubiquitous in modern parlance, refers to a person who has the capacity to shape the attitudes, behavior, or decisions of others through authority, knowledge, position, or the nature of their relationship with the audience. The origins of this phenomenon can be traced back to the early 2000s, when the emergence of digital blogs and platforms began to democratize the creation and dissemination of content. As social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest gained popularity, a new breed of influencer emerged, one who built their grassroots online presence through engaging content, direct audience interaction, and a keen sense of authenticity. These individuals, often with millions of followers, have become the modern-day equivalent of salespeople or marketers, promoting products and services to their devoted audiences. But what's fascinating is that having a large following doesn't necessarily translate to influence, and the most successful influencers are those who have managed to create a sense of connection and trust with their audience. The Kardashian family, with their reality TV show Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which aired from 2007 to 2021, is often cited as one of the pioneering forces in this new era of celebrity culture. Their show, which was widely panned by critics but attracted high viewership ratings, helped to establish the concept of famous for being famous, where individuals could build a massive following and influence simply by being themselves. The family's success led to numerous spin-off series, television specials, and eventually, a new reality show, The Kardashians, which premiered on Hulu in 2022. But that wasn't the only factor that contributed to their influence, as they also leveraged their massive following to promote various products and services, becoming one of the most successful examples of influencer marketing. As we delve deeper into the world of influencer culture, it becomes clear that the lines between reality and fabrication are often blurred. The Kardashian family's rise to fame, for instance, was facilitated by their ability to create a sense of authenticity and connection with their audience, but also by their willingness to stage and manipulate certain aspects of their lives for the sake of entertainment. This raises important questions about the nature of influence and the impact of social media on our perceptions of reality. But that's not the only contradiction, as the very same platforms that have enabled the rise of influencers have also created new challenges and complexities, such as the spread of misinformation, the commodification of influence, and the blurring of boundaries between advertising and content. The term influencer, which has its roots in the 17th century, has evolved significantly over time, from referring to a person or thing that exerts influence to its modern connotation of a social media personality with a large following. But what's interesting is that the concept of influence itself remains the same, whether it's a social media influencer, a podcaster, a public speaker, or a writer. The key to influence lies in the ability to shape attitudes, behaviors, and decisions, and to create a sense of connection and trust with one's audience. As we continue to navigate this complex and ever-changing landscape, it's essential to understand the mechanisms of influence and the ways in which social media has created a new era of celebrity culture. But that's a story for another time, as we're just beginning to scratch the surface of this fascinating and complex world. The impact of influencer marketing cannot be overstated, with a 1% increase in spending on influencer marketing leading to a 0.5% increase in audience engagement. This has created a massive industry, with businesses pouring millions of dollars into influencer marketing campaigns. But what's driving this trend, and how are influencers managing to wield such enormous influence over their audiences? The answer lies in their ability to create engaging content, to build a sense of authenticity and connection with their audience, and to leverage their influence to promote products and services. But as we'll see, this is not without its challenges and controversies, as the rise of influencer culture has also created new concerns around transparency, accountability, and the blurring of boundaries between advertising and content. As we explore the world of influencer culture, we'll encounter a range of fascinating characters, from fashion influencers and travel influencers to virtual influencers and internet celebrities. We'll examine the ways in which social media has created new opportunities for individuals to build massive followings and influence, and we'll investigate the mechanisms of influencer marketing, including the use of sponsored content, product placements, and affiliate marketing. But we'll also delve into the darker side of influencer culture, including the spread of misinformation, the commodification of influence, and the impact of social media on our mental and physical health. It's a complex and multifaceted world, full of contradictions and challenges, but also full of opportunities and possibilities. And as we navigate this world, we'll begin to uncover the secrets of the influencer empire and the ways in which social media has created a new era of celebrity culture. But that's not the strangest part, as the most surprising aspect of this world is yet to come, and it will challenge everything we thought we knew about influence, celebrity, and the power of social media. As we delve deeper into the world of influencers, it becomes clear that the lines between celebrity culture and social media have become increasingly blurred. The Kardashian family, with their long-running reality TV show Keeping Up with the Kardashians, is a prime example of this phenomenon. The show, which aired for 20 seasons, was often criticized for its emphasis on the famous for being famous concept, yet it attracted high viewership ratings and won several audience awards. But what's interesting is that the family's success on traditional TV was only the beginning, as they would later leverage their fame to become some of the most influential figures on social media. The term influencer is often associated with social media personalities who have built a large following and can shape the attitudes and behaviors of their audience. However, the concept of influence is much broader, and the Kardashians are a perfect example of how influence can be wielded across different platforms. With their massive following on Instagram, the Kardashian sisters have become a major force in the world of influencer marketing, with brands clamoring to partner with them to promote their products. But that wasn't the only way they leveraged their influence, as they also used their platform to launch their own business ventures, from makeup lines to shapewear. One of the key factors that contributed to the rise of the influencer empire is the way social media has democratized the concept of celebrity. With the advent of platforms like Instagram and TikTok, anyone can become a celebrity, regardless of their background or credentials. This has led to a proliferation of influencers across various niches, from fashion and beauty to travel and lifestyle. However, as the influencer marketing industry has grown, so has the scrutiny of these social media personalities. With great influence comes great responsibility, and many influencers have faced backlash for promoting products that they don't actually use or for engaging in deceptive marketing practices. The Kardashian family, in particular, has faced its fair share of criticism for its involvement in influencer marketing. With their massive following and influence, they have been accused of promoting products that are not always in the best interest of their audience. However, it's also worth noting that the family has used their platform to raise awareness about social issues and to promote body positivity. For instance, Kim Kardashian has been an outspoken advocate for prison reform, while Kylie Jenner has used her platform to promote self-acceptance and self-love. But that's not to say that their influence is always positive, as they have also been criticized for perpetuating unrealistic beauty standards and for promoting consumerism. As we examine the rise of the influencer empire, it's clear that the stakes are high. With the ability to shape the attitudes and behaviors of millions of people, influencers have a tremendous amount of power. But with that power comes responsibility, and it's up to the influencers themselves to use their platform in a way that is authentic and transparent. The question is, can they be trusted to wield this power responsibly, or will the pursuit of fame and fortune lead them down a path of deception and manipulation? But that's not the only question, as the true extent of their influence is still unknown, and it will take a deeper dive into the world of influencer marketing to uncover the truth. The history of influencer marketing is a fascinating one, with its roots in the early 2000s, when bloggers and social media personalities first began to emerge. However, it wasn't until the rise of Instagram and other visual-centric platforms that influencer marketing really took off. Today, influencer marketing is a multi-billion-dollar industry, with brands partnering with influencers to promote their products to millions of people. But what's interesting is that the most successful influencers are not just those with the largest following, but those who have built a loyal and engaged community around their brand. For instance, the Kardashian sisters have built a massive following on Instagram, but they have also created a sense of intimacy and connection with their audience, which has helped to fuel their influence. As we reach the midpoint of our exploration into the world of influencers, it's clear that the landscape is complex and multifaceted. With the rise of social media, the traditional notion of celebrity has been turned on its head, and a new era of influencer culture has emerged. But what's driving this shift, and how will it continue to evolve in the future? The answer lies in the way that social media has democratized the concept of influence, allowing anyone to become a celebrity and build a massive following. However, this shift has also raised important questions about the nature of influence and the responsibility that comes with it. As we move forward, it's clear that the stakes are high, and the consequences of the influencer empire will be far-reaching. One of the most surprising aspects of the influencer empire is the way that it has created a new class of celebrities. These individuals, who have built their fame and fortune on social media, are not traditional celebrities in the classical sense. They are not actors or musicians, but rather personalities who have built a massive following and influence through their online presence. For instance, the Kardashian sisters have become household names, not just for their reality TV show, but for their influence on social media. They have built a massive following and have used their platform to launch their own business ventures and promote products to their audience. But what's interesting is that their influence extends far beyond the world of entertainment, as they have also become cultural icons and trendsetters. The rise of the influencer empire has also raised important questions about the nature of authenticity and transparency. As influencers promote products and services to their audience, it's often difficult to discern what's real and what's not. Are they genuinely endorsing a product, or are they just in it for the money? The answer is not always clear, and it's up to the influencers themselves to be transparent about their relationships with brands. For instance, the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, has guidelines in place that require influencers to clearly disclose their relationships with brands, but it's often unclear whether these guidelines are being followed. But that's not the only issue, as the lack of transparency and authenticity has led to a crisis of trust in the influencer marketing industry. As we continue to explore the world of influencers, it's clear that the landscape is complex and multifaceted. With the rise of social media, the traditional notion of celebrity has been turned on its head, and a new era of influencer culture has emerged. But what's driving this shift, and how will it continue to evolve in the future? The answer lies in the way that social media has democratized the concept of influence, allowing anyone to become a celebrity and build a massive following. However, this shift has also raised important questions about the nature of influence and the responsibility that comes with it. As we move forward, it's clear that the stakes are high, and the consequences of the influencer empire will be far-reaching. But that's not the only thing that's at stake, as the true extent of the influencer empire's influence is still unknown, and it will take a deeper dive into the world of influencer marketing to uncover the truth. As the influencer empire continues to expand, it's becoming increasingly clear that the lines between reality and curated content are blurring. The Kardashians, a family who have built their brand on the concept of famous for being famous, are a prime example of this phenomenon. With their new series on Hulu, they're taking their reality TV empire to the next level, leveraging their massive social media following to promote their show and various business ventures. But what's interesting is that despite the criticism they've faced for being famous, they've managed to create a loyal fan base that hangs on to their every move. This raises the question, what is it about the Kardashians that resonates with their audience, and how have they managed to maintain their influence despite the ever-changing social media landscape? One possible answer lies in their ability to adapt and evolve with the times. When Keeping Up with the Kardashians first premiered in 2007, social media was still in its infancy, and the family's rise to fame was largely fueled by their reality TV show. However, as social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok gained popularity, the Kardashians were quick to jump on the bandwagon, using these platforms to promote their brand and connect with their fans. This strategic move allowed them to stay relevant and maintain their influence, even as the media landscape shifted. But that wasn't the only factor at play, as the family's savvy business sense and ability to diversify their brand have also contributed to their enduring success. The Kardashians' business ventures, which range from makeup and clothing lines to mobile apps and endorsement deals, have helped them build a lucrative empire that extends far beyond their reality TV show. And with their new series on Hulu, they're taking their brand to the next level, leveraging their massive social media following to promote their show and various business ventures. But what's interesting is that, despite their commercial success, the Kardashians have also faced criticism for their lack of authenticity and for promoting unrealistic beauty standards. This raises the question, what is the impact of the influencer empire on our culture? And are we seeing a shift towards a more authentic and diverse representation of beauty and identity? As we delve deeper into the world of influencer marketing, it's becoming clear that the stakes are high, and the consequences of the influencer empire will be far-reaching. With the rise of social media, we're seeing a new generation of influencers who are building their brands and promoting products to their massive followings. But what's interesting is that, despite the potential benefits of influencer marketing, there are also concerns about the lack of transparency and accountability in the industry. As the influencer empire continues to grow and evolve, it's likely that we'll see a greater emphasis on regulation and transparency, as well as a shift towards more authentic and diverse representation. But that's not the only thing that's at stake, as the true extent of the influencer empire's influence is still unknown, and it will take a deeper dive into the world of influencer marketing to uncover the truth. The influencer empire's impact on our culture is a complex and multifaceted issue, with both positive and negative consequences. On the one hand, social media has democratized the concept of celebrity, allowing individuals to build their own personal brands and connect with their fans in a way that was previously impossible. But on the other hand, the influencer empire has also been criticized for promoting unrealistic beauty standards, materialism, and a culture of narcissism. As we move forward, it's likely that we'll see a greater emphasis on diversity and inclusivity, as well as a shift towards more authentic and sustainable representation. But what's interesting is that, despite the potential benefits of the influencer empire, there are also concerns about the long-term consequences of our obsession with social media and celebrity culture. As we consider the future of the influencer empire, it's clear that the stakes are high and the consequences of our actions will be far-reaching. With the rise of social media, we're seeing a new generation of influencers who are building their brands and promoting products to their massive followings. But what's interesting is that, despite the potential benefits of influencer marketing, there are also concerns about the lack of transparency and accountability in the industry. As the influencer empire continues to grow and evolve, it's likely that we'll see a greater emphasis on regulation and transparency, as well as a shift towards more authentic and diverse representation. But what will happen when the bubble bursts and the influencer empire comes crashing down? Will we be left to pick up the pieces of a culture that has been shaped by the relentless pursuit of fame and fortune?